Hello, lovers of truth, wisdom, and courage. It's an interesting time we, as a people, are going through at the moment. There's a lot of negativity flowing around, not only online, in social media, in everyday people, in real life, quote unquote. You see it everywhere. You see the hollow, vacant expressions on their faces. You see the almost zombie-like way they carry on their everyday lives. And you hear it in the nasty, caustic responses during conversations and so forth. And it's easy to get caught up in it. It can get very frustrating sometimes, and especially when a person is aware of something and they wish to share it with another human being. And when you try, the resulting, well, shall we say, misunderstanding and quote-unquote discussion, as it progresses more, shows the other person's true depth of brainwashing and sleeping state of mind. And of course, in that moment, you realize just how deeply asleep they are. You really can't do much about it. The more the discussion progresses, the more you see how truly deluded and asleep they are. And despite your best efforts, courageous efforts, it does take a lot of courage to discuss things with such a person. And you do reach a point where you just need to smile, practice hermetic silence, and walk away. Because you really cannot do awareness for them. They need to do that themselves. They need to reach that conclusion themselves. If they don't, and if they go through their whole lives asleep and unaware, and a typical example of delusion and illusion, leave them to it. I think that's the one thing about, as so many people talk about red pill awareness and so forth, of course they themselves do not realize how they are only touching the surface, the tip of the iceberg, as they say. And it's a journey. It really is a journey, and you need to become not only tolerant, but understanding, patient with yourself as you yourself partake in your own journey and find deeper levels of truth and awareness and wisdom. Because you've got that wonderful little thing called the ego mind wishing to rear its ugly head at every possible moment. And it will, and it can. It will come up with all excuses. It will make you appear to be the constant victim. And it is ego mind, in fact, which never wants anything to change. it usually expresses itself through a harmless enough sentiment. When you look back on the quote-unquote the good old days, how things used to be and how they are now. And that's fair enough, and that's harmless enough, but that's usually how ego mind rears its ugly head. It doesn't like change. However, in this day and age, as negativity increases, and it is increasing, the one realization that every word has a vibration and is a vibration of energy. There is a whole range of energy wavelengths which are expressed through words and images and all facets of mass media and social media and your own words face to face, and even what dealing with another person and discussing things with another person, their energy of their words and their multiple layers of their energy bodies. And one needs to cultivate the ability to screen oneself from such things, because as far as mass media goes, the constant barrage of negativity is actually designed to induce a fear response. And of course, fear is the beginning of all the other wonderfully horrible states of mind. Yes, Yoda actually was speaking the truth. That actually is a real esoteric teaching. Okay. So yeah, there was actually quite a lot of real esoteric truth in Star Wars. Fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. That's actually right on the money. And it's important at this time to not only to screen oneself. There are various ways of doing that, including various visualization techniques. And because imagination is the key to consciousness, this is why you have a lot of visualization techniques which are very powerful, because they connect to deeper levels of our own consciousness. The perhaps tired old advice of imagining white light surrounding yourself is actually quite valid and quite useful. Finding time alone in some sort of natural environment is most important. Shut off the news. News is only propaganda anyway. There's only a very small percentage of actual truth in news these days. Yes, I had the misfortune of discussing things with a fellow human being, and she showed incredible levels of delusion. Oh, it's shocking what the Russians are doing to Syrians. And then, of course, I sort of thought to myself, and you probably thought September 11 was perpetrated by Bin Laden. Yes, there are people that are asleep out there. And you probably think that voting actually helps. And, this person, she actually indicated that, well, hopefully when one of the Democrats, yeah, she's American. The most delusional people I find usually are American, because of the American mass media is one of the most effective propaganda machines since Nazi Germany. Oh, hopefully one of the Democrats come in and fix things. Yeah, I couldn't help but inwardly laugh. It's like trying to talk about deep topics with a 3-year-old child. It's amusing, and you sort of pat them on the head and tell them to run along and play. That's really all you can do. Hopefully These people wake up to a certain extent enough to be able to do the inner work themselves, but, don't hold your breath. Each person's path really is their own, and not everyone will become awake. Not everyone will actually want to better themselves. There are people who still think that buying stuff is the epitome and the height of human endeavour. Having a nice house and a nice car and nice clothes and stuff. Well, they're going to find out sooner or later, one way or another, that it's not. And when that happens, the suffering response within them will be acute, more so than it could have been. However, that is the way it is. And as far as being on YouTube and so forth, you're on the right track when you attract negative comments and negative people saying, talking out of their bottoms. You're on the right track when that starts to happen. Don't lose heart. Don't change for them. Smile and sort of respond with something wonderfully sarcastic. And keep doing it and reach greater heights of truth and awareness expression. Because, just keep in mind, it's not going to get you popularity, because to speak the truth is a lonely path.